Pandora's Actor. Pandora's Actor is the area guardian of Nazarick's treasury, and also the financial manager of the tomb. He's the one responsible for Nazarick's upkeep and for supporting Ainz Ooal Gown. The thing is, Pandora's Actor was created directly by Ainz himself, which makes him Ainz's living, breathing black history. Now, even though his base stats are lower than most other level 100 NPCs, Pandora's Actor is still one of the strongest servants in Nazarick. According to Albedo, his abilities are on par with those of both Demiurgus and her. On top of managing the treasury, he also handles the currency needed to activate Nazarick's defense network, which basically makes him the treasurer. His talents lie in disguise. Pandora's Actor can transform into 45 different forms, and imitate not just appearances but their abilities too. The catch is, he can only use about 80% of the original strength. Still, Pandora's Actor possessed very flexible abilities, to the point where he could replace all the other guardians if needed. However, Ainz didn't actually make him for combat or administrative duties. His real purpose was to preserve the forms of Ainz Ooal Gown and keep the memories of his guildmates alive. That's why he can copy the forms of the 41 guild members plus 4 more unknown forms. If it's just physical appearance, he can turn into anything as long as it's a living being. The only forms he can't take are the Floor Guardians. When he copies someone, Pandora's Actor takes penalties to all his stats. Even though his abilities work at 80%, he can never use Super Tim magic. That's because some classes can't be copied at all. So even if he mimics Ainz or Albert, he won't be able to pull off their strongest magic. According to Maruyama-sensei, if Pandora's Actor shifts from one spellcaster to another, his entire spell list changes too. So, if he can use around 300 spells for each form, he can theoretically gain up to about 13,500 spells in total. Negredo. Negredo is an NPC of the Great Tomb of Nazarick and one of Tabula's Marikdina's creations. While Albedo represents Tabula's love for Gapmo, Negredo is the incarnation of love for horror movies. As for Rubedo, we'll talk about her later in the video. But remember, even though she's her sister, Negredo believes that girl might betray Nazarick one day. Negredo was originally confined to the frozen prison on the 5th floor of Nazarick, serving as its area guardian. At Yuri Alpha's request, Negredo was later released to help manage the orphanage in Irantul. Unlike many NPCs, Negredo is kind towards humans. Together with Pistonia, she opposed killing innocent people kidnapped by the Riestais kingdom. They are willing to defy Ainz's orders to protect civilians and children. Negredo is a magic caster and one of the higher level NPCs in Nazarick. She was designed to specialize in divination and information gathering. Ainz once turned to her for assistance in locating Shultir, during which she used her spell Crystal Monitor to display a distant forest and pinpoint Shultir's location. Basically, Negredo can monitor wide areas, even the entirety of Nazarick's forces, while also casting anti-surveillance magic to shield information. For combat, she wields scissors as her primary weapon, though her true strength lies in intelligence and reconnaissance. Kyohuko. Kyokuho is the area guardian of the Black Capsule on the 2nd floor of Nazarick. According to the author Maruyama, his chamber contains a trap that specifically targets characters with a female exterior, teleporting them straight into the Roach Pit. In terms of strength, Kyohuko is not especially powerful in open spaces. Maruyama stated that he was weaker than the Pleiades Maids. However, his ability to summon an endless swarm of cockroaches makes him a unique and terrifying opponent. In fact, he was considered such a formidable enemy that players would sometimes log out of the game just to avoid facing him. Maruyama also says that Kyohuko can summon an infinite number of gargantuan beings of the same race. Kyokuho is described as a gentleman. Among the NPCs, his personality is among the splendidly nice ones. As an insect druid, his main power lies in summoning cockroaches, ranging from small insects to giant variants about 150 centimeters tall. These larger ones are about as tough as thin iron plates, but their HP is not particularly high. Naturally, ordinary people like villagers would have no way to deal with them. The true danger comes from the sheer numbers he can summon. Kyohuko is capable of summoning anywhere from 10,000 to 100,000 cockroaches at once. In an enclosed space, this ability becomes devastating, overwhelming enemies with endless waves of swarming attacks. In the web novel, the supreme being Lucifer gave Kyohuko a silver cockroach golem, which he uses as his mount. Ooal Omega. Ooal is the area guardian of the Cherry Blossom Sanctuary on the 8th floor of Nazarick. Ooal is the leader of the Pleiades Seven Sisters, a group of battle-made NPCs who act as Nazarick's final defense on the 9th floor. She's a level 100 NPC specialized in commander-type classes, which means she can give orders that buff her allies. Basically, she's an all-rounder. Ooal also controls the teleportation gates in Nazarick and protects the staff of Ainz Ooal Gown in the Cherry Blossom Sanctuary. Her active ability is Gate, the highest tier of teleportation magic. It creates a portal that can transport large groups over great distances. If intruders try to use them, she can send them to an isolation area of her choice. She commands servants like Ukonomitamas and Utoshius, who protect her domain. With her servants as shields, Ooal ought to have enough time to flee to the 9th floor if something happens. Ooal is currently on the 8th floor, and most could not go there directly. Even the ring of Ainz Ooal Gown would not be able to travel to the Cherry Blossom Sanctuary. Instead, it would teleport one some distance away from it. Among the Pleiades sisters, Ooal is the only human. However, she's also immortal. Even though most of her sisters don't like humans, they still care for her like a real sister. But we'll come back to the rest of the Pleiades sisters later. Yuri describes Ooal as high-spirited and once pictured her with her arms crossed and a cute smile. Her voice is calm and gentle, and Yuri even calls her Aochan. Interestingly, Ooal was also the original owner of the world item on the 8th floor, which was later given to Shaltir. Pestonia Shortcake Wanko. Pestonia is an NPC created by Ancora Mochi Mochi. She serves as an area guardian and is also Nazarick's head maid. Pestonia is a high priest capable of using extremely powerful healing magic. She's considered a high-level cleric, and her mage uniform itself functions as a high-class item that grants her defensive stats. Her fur also gives her natural cold resistance. When using resurrection magic, Pestonia requires payment in gold coins, jewels, or other valuables equal to the cost of the spell. While her level is lower than most floor guardians, she can still cast the highest-ranking holy magic with ease. In the web novel, Pestonia is the best healer available in Nazarick. She's even able to transfer her mana reserves to Shaltir, which once allowed her to prolong the use of the Gate spell. Pestonia can also summon angels like the Archangel Flame. Personality-wise, Pestonia is one of the few NPCs in Nazarick who doesn't hate humans. She believes people outside Ainz Ooal Gown shouldn't be sent to the graveyard right away. Interestingly, when Sebas wanted to heal Tsuaret, Solution suggested asking Pestonia instead, but in the end Solution still used the healing scroll herself. Neuronist Painkill. On top of being the area guardian of the underground portion of the frozen prison, Neuronist is also the special intelligence officer in charge of, well, messing with the prisoners. While Kyohuko is Nazarick's worst resident, Neuronist holds the title of worst occupation among the 5 worst NPCs. The others include worst appearance, worst personality, worst hero, but more on them later. Belonging to the Brain Eater race, Neuronist is responsible for extracting information through violent means. She particularly enjoys playing with the brains of her victims, which is her favorite thing to do. Even with her role, Neuronist isn't very strong by Nazarick standards. During an interrogation of slain Theocracy's Antolin, she needed Mare's help to get it done. Fun fact, Neuronist once insulted Shaltir by calling her a brat and mocked Albedo as an ugly freak, even going as far as to claim she was more attractive than both and more deserving of Ainz's affection. Shihoto Tokutu, better known as the head chef, is an area guardian who normally works in Nazarick's canteen. Created by Amanome Hitotsu, Tokutu serves as the canteen's head chef and is one of only 3 NPCs in Nazarick with the cook job class. During the demonic disturbance when Pestonia and Negredo defied Ainz's orders to spare the abducted children, Tokutu and the sous chef secretly supported them by preparing baby food. As the head chef, Tokutu is fanatically devoted to his profession and often makes dramatic declarations about his cooking. When Ainz once visited him, Tokutu became overly enthusiastic about preparing meals, despite knowing that Ainz could not eat. He even claimed that no ingredients would ever be wasted if used for Ainz. Ainz struggled to make Tokutu understand that he wanted a simple conversation rather than a grand reception back then. Gashoku Kochuo. Gashoku Kochuo is the area guardian of the large hole in Nazarick. As a member of the 5 Worst, he holds the title of Worst Appearance. During Ainz's fight with Foresight, he instructed Aura to take Hecaran and Imina to the large hole. At that point, Gashoku Kochuo said that he was running out of quote-unquote nests. According to the author Maruyama, both Hecaran and Imina were seen gaining weight after this event. This hints that Gashoku Kochuo or members of his parasite race might have infested them. Guren. Guren is the area guardian of the River of Lava on the 7th floor. Its strength made it one of Nazarick's top fighters and the best guardian of the 7th floor, able to step in for Demiurgus when he's not around. Guren is an abyssal slime of enormous size. Its gender is unknown, with some, like Pulcinella, even believing it to be genderless. Normally it hides its massive body within the flowing lava, dragging intruders into the molten battlefield where it has the advantage. Though only level 90, Guren was optimized for combat and could fight on par with some floor guardians. If it spotted an enemy, Guren's tentacles would drag them into the quicksand-like lava, where they'd be attacked by an almost invisible opponent. Because Guren does not need to breathe, it can remain hidden in magma and strike with its tentacles. Defeating it through normal methods is nearly impossible. Grant. As an area guardian, Grant protects zones scattered across multiple floors, including the 3rd and 6th floors. Unlike many NPCs, Grant has a very high level, likely around 90 or above. Grant's children were the ones who consumed Arsh's corpse. Her head was given to a silk hat demon, the arms to the dead man's struggles, Demiurgus took the skin, and the rest was fed to Grant's children. Interestingly, Cocytus is mentioned being on good terms with Demiurgus, Kyokuko, Grant, and Gashoku Kochuo. Sebas Tian. Sebas is the head butler of Nazarick and the leader of the Pleiades 6 stars. As an NPC created by Touch Me, Sebas' strength is on the level of the Floor Guardians. He's an unarmed combat specialist and one of Nazarick's 4 strongest fighters. Basically, his power is comparable to Cocytus, Albedo, and Rubedo. In his dragonoid form, Sebas can overpower even Cocytus and Albedo. Ainz says he can sweep away anyone in direct combat. Among the top warriors, Cocytus beats Albedo, Albedo beats Sebas, and Sebas beats Cocytus. Sebas can use Ki to heal, knock someone unconscious, or force them to obey. His Fear Aura can kill almost any human in the New World. Like his creator, Touch Me, Sebas has a strong sense of justice. He believes those who do not save the weak cannot call themselves strong, and he does not see all humans as weak or worthless. Although he has no problem killing anyone who threatens Nazarick, Sebas doesn't hate humans as much and will even help them himself or encourage Ainz to lend a hand. According to author Maruyama, this is because Touch Me never wrote personality settings for Sebas, so he became the NPC most shaped by his creator's ideals. Considering that he and Demiurgus' creator do not get along, Sebas himself often clashes with Demiurgus' opinions. Lupus Regina Beta. Lupus Regina is one of the Pleiades 6 stars and was the creation of the supreme being Beast King Mekangawa. As a lycanthrope, she can transform into a werewolf. She's resistant to most metals, but silver is her weakness, as it actually boosts the damage she takes from it. Lupus Regina is also a battle cleric. In fact, she's got the highest overall stats among the Pleiades, with the best physical defense and resistances too. Lupus Regina can heal big groups with All Greater Heal, patch up wounds with Heal and Medium Cure Wound, cure poison, and even fly. Her Animal Instinct skill lets her sense what her target is thinking, and her complete invisibility spell makes her totally undetectable unless you've got special magic to see her. She's also shown she can find magically hidden enemies. In Carne Village, she even used a spell to cool down fire from the sky to kill a troll. Her main weapon is a black and silver crozier. Her job was to defend Carne Village and maintain its security. More precisely, her main task was to observe and remain alert while preventing the leakage of technologies developed within the village. CZ2128 Delta, also known as CZ or Shizu, is an automaton created by Garnet. Shizu specializes in firearms and long-range attacks. Garnet built her with the deep knowledge of Nazarick's security mechanisms, especially in the treasury. Since Garnet co-designed those systems with Tabula Smaragdina, he wrote her backstory so she could bypass locks and defenses if needed. Unlike most Pleiades Maids, Ainz actually has a high karma. That makes her, alongside Yuri Alpha, one of the 2 Pleiades who are considered relatively safe for humans to be around. For all her mechanical composure and automaton battle skills, Ainz is weak to cute things, whether it's a Claire or some small creature. If she thinks it's adorable, she'll hug it and refuse to let go. In fact, Garnet once gave her a 1 yen sticker, and she still keeps it on her. One time, Eclair kept avoiding her, so she went to the 6th floor to hug Aura's magical beast instead. She got scolded afterwards. Solution Epsilon. As a member of the Pleiades 6 stars, Solution is a predator slime battle maid created by Hero. As a slime, Solution was adept at dealing with physical attacks. She possessed an especially strong resistance to piercing or slashing attacks. However, bludgeoning attacks could hurt her. Her body's basically hollow, so she can store things inside, protect them, or dissolve them at will. She can even control how fast her digestion works. For someone with no fixed form like Solution, escaping should have been easy as pie. Incidentally, Solution's eyeballs were also fake, so meeting her gaze was meaningless. After all, she did not use vision to perceive others. On top of that, she can turn parts of her body into whip-like slime arms that reach up to 2 meters, moving so fast they can slice enemies before they even realize it. She can also turn her fingers into syringe-like tubes to inject her own custom poisons, one that puts targets to sleep and another that relaxes their muscles. Plus, she can melt into shadows for stealth attacks. As a rogue-class assassin and poison maker, she's great at detecting traps, tracking targets, scouting, and even using scrolls despite class restrictions. Nabarugama, also known as Nabe, is an NPC created by Nishiki Enrai. Nabe's human form is gained through her doppelganger's transformation skill. However, because of her low racial level, she can only transform into one form. Her original appearance as a doppelganger is similar to Pandora's actor. As a doppelganger battle maid of the Pleiades 6 stars, Nabril is an arcane magic caster who specializes in air elemental magic. That makes all her air spells much stronger, but it also means her other magic is a bit weaker, though still far from weak by human standards. Outside of her bunny magic, almost all her spells are built for combat. Passively, she has dark vision. She can also use active skills like Dragon Lightning and Chain Dragon Lightning to hit multiple enemies, Dimensional Move to escape, Electrosphere for huge lightning attacks, Fly for moving around, Invisibility for sneaking, Teleportation, and more. Most people in the New World know her better as Nabe. As an Adamantite-ranked adventurer, she's already one of the strongest in the New World. According to Fluda, she's so powerful that she could already use 8th tier magic at maximum. Nabe has the Koraunos Mk3 weapon, a ring of sustenance that boosts her vitality, the Pleiades Maid armor, and more. As Nabe, Nabril basically acts as Ainz's personal security. When she's outside, she has to make sure no one is rude to Ainz, decide if she should immediately deal with anyone who is, and stay focused to watch for any enemies. Entoma Vasilissa Zeta. Entoma is an NPC arachnid battle maid of the Pleiades 6 stars. Created by the supreme being Genjiro, Entoma is a spirit-based magic caster who fights using insects and talismans. She can mix close-range attacks, ranged bug summons, magical strikes, and talisman-based buffs. The drawback is that summoning her strongest bugs takes time. Her insect weapons can act on their own, but if an enemy resists a spell, the insect itself has to resist it too, not Entoma. That's a weakness enemies can take advantage of. She's also a support unit who can boost magic effects and aid her sisters in battle. Even so, her stats are well-rounded enough to hold her own in direct combat. She's got a whole set of bugs like bullet bugs, blade bugs, hard armor bugs, thousand lash bugs, and even lip bugs that steal others' voices. Interestingly, her original lip bug died in her fight with Evil Eye, so she replaced it with one that ate Archie's voice. Entoma uses mask bugs to hide her real face. It displayed no emotion, so there was no way to tell what she was thinking. When communicating with her sisters, Entoma had to use her body language to express what she meant, for instance by shrugging or tilting her head. As an arachnoid, Entoma can shoot webs, slash with webs sharp enough to cut through magic barriers, and use Breath of Fly, a swarm of flesh-eating flies that lay eggs in victims, which hatch quickly and consume them before moving on to the next target. She can only use these 3 times a day. Her compound eyes give her a wide field of vision, and her antennae can sense air movement. Yuri Alpha. Yuri is the vice captain of the Pleiades 6 stars, and was created by the supreme being, Yamaiko. Among the maids, she's known as the Big Sister. Even though they call each other sisters, they aren't real siblings, they're just programmed to act that way. As a Doulahan, Yuri wears black lensless glasses and a blue collar around her neck, probably to keep her head attached. Her karma value shows she's good-hearted and one of only 2 Pleiades who'd rather help humans in need. Since the Supreme Beings made Yuri the eldest of the sisters, she had to play the role of the eldest sister fully. This came from her loyalty to and desire to repay her creator, Yamaiko. But because she shares some traits with Yamaiko, she can be a bit of a muscle brain sometimes. Yuri acts really strictly, kind of like a teacher. Like most NPCs, she's a total workaholic and gets fidgety if there's free time with nothing to do. But since she's undead, she could also be cold and calculating. Yamaiko's influence lets her have short emotional bursts, but she quickly suppresses them. Compared to Intoma, who's the same level, Yuri focuses more on hitting and doing straight-up physical damage. In her fight with Evil Eye, she used Fa Jin, a Chinese martial arts technique to break through Evil Eye's crystal wall. She can also use Qi Gong to heal herself or her allies. Yuri can boost her physical power with armament enhancement, sends enemies with presence search, and hit hard with moves like Kabakusho and Impact Blow. She's also resistant to things like immobilization, blindness, silence, dazzling, and life-draining effects. But there's still more to uncover. If you want to see all the Pleiades battle maids explained in detail, check out this video where we go through every one of them in just a few minutes. Library Overlords. The Library Overlords were created to guard Nazarick's Great Library, Ashur Banipal. All 5 served under the command of the Chief Librarian, Titus Aeneas Secundus. Titus is a skeleton mage and the head librarian. Although he's designed for production ability, his total level was still higher than that of Elder Lich. Titus is a 150 centimeter tall skeleton that looks like a fusion of human and animal bones. He has several scrolls hanging from his belt like weapons. Although Titus is only a basic undead, 1 step below an Elder Lich, he carries a lot of magical equipment. In the Volume 8 side story, Titus lent his overlords Aelius, Aurelius, Coccius, Fulvius, and Ulpius to Mare. They acted as escorts while Mare searched for Cocytus at the Lizardman village. Since Mare specifically asked for vassals above level 75, it's clear these overlords were fairly strong undead. Titus himself admitted that their combat ability was excessive for simple library duties, saying it was better for them to serve as Mare's guards than spend their days dusting shelves. In exchange, Titus asked Mare to cast a 4th tier spell into one of his scrolls. However, the experiment failed, and the scroll could not be imbued with spells of that tier. Titus is capable of translating the New World's language and is in possession of Renrakucho, a Yggdrasil message board. As it is an item of the Supreme Beings, Titus and the Librarians regard it as a sacred item. Aside from the Overlords, Titus also commands Elder Liches who work as Librarians. Evil Lord Envy. Evil Lord Envy is one of the evil lords of the Great Tomb of Nazarick, working directly under Demiurgus on the 7th floor. She's one of Demiurgus' personal bodyguards and a high-level vassal. Envy looks like a feminine monster wearing a tight bondage-style outfit, but with the head of a crow. When it comes to strength, Envy is around level 80 and was originally spawned in Demiurgus' underground volcano domain, positioned near the gate that leads to the 8th floor. Basically, her responsibility was guarding that path. At one point, she joined forces with the other evil lords in Demiurgus' Operation Gehenna. That's when they followed his orders to summon an entire army of demons right inside the Riesti's kingdom's capital. Evil Lord Greed. Greed is one of the evil lords of the Great Tomb of Nazarick. Like the other evil lords, he's a demon around level 80. His main weapon is a war scythe. At one point, Greed and the other evil lords were patrolling the 7th floor when they ran into a Death Knight. This Death Knight was actually moving under Ainz's direct orders to meet Demiurgus. The evil lord showed curiosity at the sight of this unknown undead. But instead of giving in to their natural demonic urge to torment others, they quickly recognized the Death Knight as an ally. They even went as far as asking which floor guardian the Death Knight served, treating him with the utmost courtesy. And when they heard his answer, their reaction was dramatic. Evil Lord Sloth. As another member of the Evil Lord, Sloth serves as one of Demiurgus' underlings. This Evil Lord has the ability to summon pack after pack of demons and undead, making them very hard to deal with. Evil Lord Wrath. Wrath is a huge demon with burning wings and 2 huge crimson fists. As a level 84 NPC, he's stronger than the other Evil Lords. Wrath is a physical attacker type, that means he has a very high HP and incredible durability. His skin is so tough that even Sepharligia, the holy sword wielded by Remedios in the Holy Kingdom, couldn't cut through it. On top of that, Wrath can summon an army of demons and even bring out Evil Lords at a lower level. One troublesome point about the Evil Lord of Wrath was that it was very hard to damage its hate. Wrath builds aggro faster than any other Evil Lord, which makes him tough to manage in battle. Tanks have said, the hardest part about fighting multiple Evil Lords at once is keeping Wrath from going off target. The more hate he builds, the more damage and defense he gets. The real danger is his ability called Soul-Bought Miracle. Its effects are completely unknown, even Ainz was cautious about it. Aside from that, Wrath can use 10th tier spells like Meteor Fall, Time Stop, and Field of Unclean. He's got 9th tier spells like Greater Rejection and Vermilion Nova. 8th tier ones like Distort Morale, Insanity, Astral Smite, and Wave of Pain. And 7th tier spells like Napalm, Hellflame, Greater Word of Curse, Greater Teleportation, and Blasphemy. He can also cast 6th tier spells like Flamewing and Wall of Hell, and even basic 3rd tier ones like Fireball and Slow. Generally, high-level demons had very high elemental resistance. Wrath himself is immune to fire. However, Wrath is built as a warrior, not a mage. Basically, his stats for magic are low, and he has no skills to boost his spells. Even though his fire spells should be strong against undead, they don't really matter to Ainz. Mind-affecting spells also do nothing to undead, and Ainz's negative karma cancels out things like Distort Morale. So, his magic isn't much of a threat against him. While Demiurgus acted as Jaldabaoth himself at first, he eventually handed that role over to a summoned Evil Lord Wrath. This Jaldabaoth looked exactly the same as Wrath and had the same abilities. Eclair Kreia is the assistant butler of Nazarick created by Ancora Mochi Mochi. He belongs to the Birdman race, but unlike the typical form, he appears as a literal rockhopper penguin. As a joke, Ancora Mochi Mochi set his personality to have the ambition of conquering Nazarick. Because this trait was part of his original settings, the other NPCs simply ignore it. Even though Eclair often declares his intent to take the throne, he remains loyal to the Supreme Beings and respects them greatly. Eclair is left in charge of the 10th floor's upkeep when Sebas is on a mission. His combat ability is minimal, with a strength level of only 1, but he makes up for it with his skills as a cleaner. According to him, nobody cleans better than he does, boasting that even the toilets he scrubs are spotless enough to eat from. He's assisted by his masked manservants, a group of 10 butlers who, like the Homunculus Maids, handle various minor tasks throughout Nazarick, with a particular focus on cleaning and maintenance duties. Chakmul. Chakmul is one of the 5 worst of Nazarick. Created by the supreme being Temperance, Chakmul holds the title of Worst Personality, and he serves as a musical instructor within Nazarick. In the web novel, he is identified as a member of the Chognar race. These are beings known for their poor attitudes but blunt honesty. Chakmul is described by Yuri and Lupus Regina as unfriendly. Chakmul commands several greater doppelgangers known as the Arid String Orchestra. Under Albedo's orders in Volume 13, this orchestra transformed into members of the Pleiades Maids.